Glad your mom was able to bring y'all up here, though, man. Seen y'all in a while. Good old Carmelo. Yeah, he used to attend, I forgot you came, he used to attend Henley. But, oh yeah, first grade when I taught you to play chess or second?
Yeah, second.
You still playing? You got a team? Oh man, you gotta stick with that.
Yep, that's why I was glad I was able to chase him down.
Yeah.
Still make sure he keeps
Where you going
up
to school
with
now?
Or.
Oh, okay. How do you like it?
It's good.
It's all right. Are they serious about school, or is it folks just doing what they do?
The teacher's serious, but the students, they okay.
They okay.
Oh.
And we are back again for the second episode of Say It With Your Chest. And this Wednesday, we have some special guests with us this evening. We are at Orr Elementary School again, bringing some chess players, 3 brothers. And first brother, oldest of the brothers, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
My name is Carmelo Miles, and I live in Benjamin Orr. And I have to
You live in Benjamin
I mean,
Orr.
my school is in Benjamin
Don't get nervous.
Orr.
What grade?
5th.
5th grade.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, next youngest brother, can you go, please? We can't hear you, brother. Give us 1 second. Let's turn that mic on for you. Two 5th graders. All right. Youngest brother. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, these gentlemen are from Orr Elementary as our guests were from 2 weeks ago, but they did not learn to play at Orr Elementary. They actually learned somewhere else, but we'll get into that to a little bit more later. And we also have an extra special guest with us, a chess coach and player as well, on and off the board. And I would definitely call him an expert, definitely an expert chess teacher. And that is Mr. Shaka Greene of Bravo Zulu Chess. Mr. Greene, I had to give you your introduction even though you didn't need one, but go ahead and add on yourself, sir, what's going on with the Bravo Zulu movement.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Shaka Greene from Bravo Zulu Chess. Happy to be here with a good friend of mine, Ben Washington, to talk about the correlation between chess and life and how those two games are interwoven.
And we are definitely gracious to have you here, sir. Now, before we get into not only correlations of chess, I want to talk a little bit of the achievements of Bravo Zulu. Just a touch, because there's so many. I don't want to get too deep into that. Brothers, Miles brothers, have any of you ever won a trophy playing in a chess tournament?
Yes, it's me, Carmelo, the oldest brother. I won a trophy when I was in 3rd grade at Henley Elementary. I was in 4th place.
Very good, very good. That was a great thing. It's a solo compliment. Now, Shaka, I'm almost scared to ask this question. Boys, stay in your seats, hold your seats tight. Shaka.
Yes, sir.
Do you even have a count of how many trophies? Well, let me be more specific. Let me be a little bit more specific. Do you have a roundabout count of how many first place trophies that your team has won?
I can ballpark it, but our program we don't really count trophies as much as we count championships. We're more concerned with winning championships because the championships last forever. Once you become a champion, no matter what else happens, they can never take that from you. And so we make champions at Bravo Zulu Chess.
Did y'all hear that? Now, championships. So he couldn't even give me really a figure for trophies because could you go in a little bit and just define what championships are, Mr. Greene, in relation to just the individual trophies?
Absolutely. Here in our region, this is the Mid-Atlantic region of the United States of America. It comes as high as Delaware and as far down as Virginia. And so we have players in that region who compete, and very, very strong players. Fortunately, our program has been able to be back-to-back regional champions for middle school and elementary school. We are the three-time defending Washington, D.C. city champions. We are also the Baltimore city champion.
Excellent. Excellent.
We like to win. We like to compete. Our children work extraordinarily hard, and they have been rewarded with some unprecedented success.
And that's definitely still being modest, boys. When he says unprecedented, that means, for a loose definition, that means unprecedented means something that you're not necessarily expecting or you don't see coming. But I have to tell you, the work that they put in, that's what I really want you to hear more about, because I know that you gentlemen got to experience basically what I'll call an amateur introduction to the game of chess, okay? So I don't want you all to feel like there's anything to do with your skill level while you're achieving the way you are, because especially you, Carmelo, you were the fastest learner that I've come across yet. And remember, you were only being able to be taught by me for what? Not even an entire school year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he won a fourth place trophy in his second tournament, I believe, that he ever performed in a chess tournament. And I was at the same time was an amateur coach. And so I actually know that after that I got a lot better at coaching. There's some things I could have helped you out with more, okay? So in me saying all that, you boys still got a lot of work to put in if you want to actually be the masters of something, or even as brothers attack something and be able to get what would be the same as a championship in something, okay? So I want Shaka to just tell you all a little bit more, because like I said, I know you guys used to playing around a little bit and doing it after school a couple days a week, but I just want you to speak a little bit more and go into the work ethic that it takes for your team to get to where they've gotten to, Mr. Greene.
2 or 3 years ago, I put out as a challenge to my students to be the very best players in the United States. And so we started studying what the very best players in the United States do. And they're putting in somewhere between 20 and 30 hours of chess practice every week. So that was the benchmark. That is what we were shooting for. As a part of our program, we meet from 4 to 6:30 in the afternoons, Tuesday through Friday. So that gives you 2.5 hours for 4 days a week. That's only 10 hours. The other 20 hours they have to make up on their own. And our students, they practice on Saturday, they practice on Sunday. Some of them wake up early and practice before they go to school. Even after they leave chess practice in the afternoons, they go home and practice. They've sacrificed martial arts and swimming and track and football and basketball and having girlfriends and having boyfriends and all of those things that we think of are just natural for middle school and high school students to do. They've given them up to be a part of something that's great. And they've been very fortunate and very blessed to be rewarded with their hard work, to be champions time and time again, as I've said.
Definitely, the hard work definitely shows, as I've said, that you can call it unprecedented, but when I heard it, not just from the coach, as you all have heard yourselves, but from the students, because whenever we have tournaments, a lot of people in the area say, oh, bravo, Zulu always wins all the trophies, Zulu. But when they talk to the students, they realize how much they practice, how much they work at their craft. They've seen students that they used to be able to beat get a lot better. And so, brothers, I want you all to talk to us. What is something in life? Maybe it's not chess, but even if it's off the board, what is something that you all want to become masters of? The best ever, maybe even. What is something that you all want to become the best at? Any one of y'all can answer. A journalist. All right, all right. Better things to do, man. That's definitely what learning things and giving yourself more opportunities, man. Now, what about you, oldest brother?
I have a lot of things I want to be really great at, but I really want to be great at singing. Because if you sing in front of a big crowd, everybody will clap and have fun. Because that's the same things as chess. I also want to be good at it because sometimes you might not win all the games, but it don't matter. Only if you believe effort and you try your best and try to win is all that matters.
I love that you just touched on that because that just leads into what I was going to say, Carmelo. I was going to say, no matter what it is that you choose that you want to pursue, as long as it's something that you enjoy and makes you happy, you want to be the best at it, it takes a combination of not only naturally being good at it, but you have to put in that hard work, okay? And so I know you guys have learned a lot of that already from chess because I saw when you gentlemen came in and played a game, you remembered to shake hands and say good luck to each other. And just as you said, yes, sir, and responding to me, I know that you're remembering your manners and different things that the game of chess is teaching you. But also, don't forget, just as Shaka was expressing, you have to put in that hard work if you want to be the best at something, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now let's get to off the board, fellas. How are things going in school, man? Not just the grades, not just the grades. How about the respect level? Are you all playing at recess, or are you all getting recess taken away sometimes because you're having a smart mouth with your teacher or doing the wrong thing with other people? Speak on that a bit, brothers. Next brother, don't. Yeah, I want all of you. What about you, Z? Okay, and I like that you even remember those. Remember what level that you're on. 'Cause that knows that you're something that you care about and you're keeping track of. Excellent, sir. Big brother again.
Uh, I have recess a lot, but sometimes I don't have recess. I respect all my teachers. Sometimes I might get mad at my teachers, but I always respect them. And sometimes I might not have recess because we have a lot of work and we do this thing called iReady or SCMF or anything to help us with 5th grade. And I do it. We chooses to pass a lesson each day because we have 2 recesses. And the first recess we could choose to do an iReady lesson if we didn't do it in class. Now sometimes I might miss a lesson. Sometimes I might do a lesson. But today I ain't do a lesson, but I chooses to do it after school.
You choose.
Yeah, choose to do it in recess.
I'm not too pleased to hear that, sir, because that's not only time that you are wasting where you could be not working out, because I know you play basketball too, right?
Yes,
On
sir.
top of you play basketball, where you could be working out your body and doing some other fun things with your friends and building relationships with them. But if everybody else is that pace and you're capable of doing it, then you should be doing it. Now, if you're having a problem, you need extra help, that's different, okay?
Yeah, I go to tutoring.
Okay, that's different if you need extra, because that's exactly what that's for. That's for tutoring after school. Now, boys, I want to talk to you a little bit about, let's see, do you know what this area is called that we are in right now? What part of D.C. we're in? North America, D.C.? Oh, my goodness. I'm glad your teachers are hearing this. They're going to get on y'all tomorrow. This is called, thank you, brother. Save them, help them out. Southeast D.C. What do you all think about Southeast D.C.? What type of reputation? What do you hear people saying about this part of D.C. compared to other parts of D.C. or even other parts of the country?
I hear like they on the streets doing all that, killing people, like up in Northwest, they like all good. They think they all good, and they think we're not capable of learning and succeeding in life.
Wow. I wasn't even expecting you to complete the end thought with that. I was expecting the first half. All right. Now, go ahead, brother.
The things I hear about is people say Black Lives Matter.
Specifically about Southeast D.C.? Or is that something you just been hearing about, maybe some other things in the news as well?
Yeah,
What about Southeast D.C.? What things do you hear people saying about Southeast?
we not better than the Northwest. We not good, but everything can change. We will be better than the North.
Okay, I'm glad you hear some hopeful things at the end of it as well. Anything you want to add?
No, the same thing Hassan was saying.
Okay. Now, that's pretty much what I expected. I was hoping to hear something different because I did not prep these gentlemen before coming on the show, letting them know that we're going to talk about violence in Southeast or anything. But now, since we already hear that that's something that is implanted in our children's head from our early start, gentlemen, do you think that's true? You think that's true about Southeast? Not just the first part about it being violent, but that means that you all will not be as good as other people.
No, I don't think that's true. I think we just make poor decisions sometimes.
Yeah,
We're very smart, but we just make poor decisions sometimes.
He stole my answer.
That's a good steal, though. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes people have a mutual answer. That means they're on the same accord. That means everybody's thinking the same way. It means somebody mama raised them the right way. And the teachers are and the teachers are teaching them the right way, okay? So, since you all are talking about not making the right decision, why do you think people are making these wrong decisions? Go ahead, one at a time.
Cops out here killing like Freddie Gray, Oscar Grant, Tamir Rice, and out here, and people are getting angry, and black families are crying. That's why we have these shirts now, have Black Lives Matter, and Sandra Bland died in jail, and they started to protest, and then a riot started, so that's when everybody just thought that the police wasn't trying to do nothing, so that's when people think they could do whatever they want.
Okay, time out real quick. Now, you guys realize that you just gave examples that did not occur in Southeast D.C., right? But that doesn't mean that things like that don't happen in Southeast. There were scenarios where a young lady's son was shot by what we call special police, which are not even the official police department that patrols a bigger range of area. They just work at a local business that they're hired for, protecting like an apartment complex sometimes. And there's different instances that have happened in D.C. And so I'm glad that you guys are aware of what's going on in the country, but we're going to focus in a little bit more on Southeast D.C., okay? Because those examples that you gave are definitely real and things that we have to think about. We're going to talk about that too. But before we get to that, are you familiar with people that are our same skin color, live right in the vicinity, right next to each other, and are still killing each other? They're not police. They're not they're not a different skin tone. Are you all aware of that?
Yes.
So that's what we're going to touch on a little bit first, okay?
Yes, sir.
Because we have to take care of ourselves before we can worry about going outside and taking care of others, okay? They can happen at the same time, but it has to happen in order with taking care of self first, okay? So why, once again, do you think people that are in the same area should be building and working together towards the same goals? Instead of doing that, sometimes are actually violent towards each other to the point where they'll actually kill each other. Do you know any of the reasons why they're doing that?
I think the reason is because we should be helping each other because we're the same color, and if we Caucasian people think they really good and they're better than us, but if we if we probably join together as a black group, we can do better. Like
Okay. So that would be called unity, people working together, right?
Yes.
Like when you're on the chessboard, you have your pieces that might be white or your pieces might be black. And sometimes not white or black, different chess pieces have different colors, but it would not make very much sense for you to be taking your own piece, would it?
No.
And in matter of fact, if you're playing in the correct order that the game is supposed to be played, you can't take your own piece, can you?
No.
That doesn't even make sense, does it?
No.
Okay, very good. Now, Mr. Greene, I know you work with a lot of young gentlemen and that are not just in elementary school, but older than that also. How have you seen, or excuse me, how have you experienced in many ways them go through what they're going through in the Southeast area and other areas and make sure they're getting through life and making the right choices versus the wrong ones?
It's an interesting question. I first want to clear up a misconception that is put out by mainstream media that Southeast is some cesspool of crime and poverty and depraved individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Right here in Southeast DC, we have homeowners, we have business owners, we have community members, we have Muhammad's Mosque number 4, we have churches and grocery stores, we have schools that are thriving and are flourishing in this community. You have to look behind the curtain. Whenever you continue to hear negative information about a certain thing, look who stands to benefit from that information being put out to the masses. You were alluding to this term, black on black crime, which is a term I don't use because nobody ever says white on white crime. When 98% of the criminal activity that occurs to Caucasians is perpetrated by other Caucasians. But nobody ever says white on white crime. They love to say black on black crime to perpetuate this idea that we are disunified. But as a people, we are extremely unified. We showed that with the Christmas boycott. Sales were down across the board. Stores are closing because of the unity that black people showed. And a lot of those black people got their start right here in Southeast DC. So I love Southeast. I love the beauty of Southeast because it reminds me of where I'm from, North Memphis. People say that with a little something on their tongue as if that's a horrible place to live. But Southeast produces beautiful people just like North Memphis does as well.
Ooh.
Yes, sir. Thank you for cleaning that up. Thank you for cleaning that up. So, boys, did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
Don't just worry about what's advertised. You got to make sure you actually listen and looking for yourself because we're in Southeast right now. And after commercial break, we will hear from not only these gentlemen a little bit more, but Mr. Eugene Brown, that also in this area has a chess club after the break.
Hey, what's going on? This is TDH from Flint, Michigan. All I got to say is arrest Snyder now. Get him out the office because we at radio. Now do something. Get him out the office.
It is my honor to present the 2016 NAACP President's Award to Mr. John Legend.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cornell. Let me first say that I accept this award with deep humility and gratitude. I don't do any of this work by myself. I have a wonderful team. So thank you to my management, my teams at Free America, LRNG, and the Show Me campaign. I'm truly grateful for your passion and your commitment to social justice. I want to thank my wonderful wife for supporting me and inspiring me in everything I do. And of course, I want to thank the NAACP for all the work that you do and have done for many, many years. We know that we stand on the shoulders of giants who risk their lives to bring us closer to true freedom. And of course, we are still fighting for freedom. Today, communities of color are still being crushed by a criminal justice system that over-polices us, over-arrests us, over-incarcerates us, and disproportionately takes the lives of our young people because of the simple fact that our skin conjures the image of threat and violence. Despite the daunting problems we face, I am hopeful. I'm hopeful that our generation will demand and achieve radical change in our lifetime. And as artists, all these wonderful artists in this room, as artists, we have always played a role in these movements. Our predecessors marched. They wrote songs. They met with political leaders. They provided financial support. Now, some will call you divisive for speaking out for disenfranchised people. Some will call you a radical for calling for justice for all. Some will take offense when we have to assert that our lives should indeed matter just as much as anyone else's. Some will call you the real racist for daring to call out racial inequality. But they know better, and we certainly know better. We know that fighting for justice isn't an act of hate, it's an act of love. So let's spread love. Let's make the world a more beautiful and just place. We have so much opportunity. Let's not waste it. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Winter Martin, and I represent a group that's creating a cooperative that will open grocery stores in food deserts. Right now, we're focusing on Ward 7 and Ward 8 in D.C. Now, we're doing this because we are tired of just talk and meeting, and we are here to do something. We need a cooperative grocery store. We need access to healthy food, to supportive jobs, to real careers, and to entrepreneurial opportunities. And cooperatives provide that and community control, power, and equity. We are working with the Department of Housing and Community Development on a space just around the corner here from We Act Radio on 1209 through 1201 Good Hope Road for our flagship store. And we are appealing right now to the community, to you, to step up, step out, and support this project. And that means going to your ANCs, going to the council meetings, and letting them know at these budget hearings that you want a community grocery store, that you want a cooperative. Our contact information is 202-590-9182. Once again, that is 202-590-9182. You can also contact us by email at jhmconceptsllc@gmail.com. Once again, that is jhmconceptsllc@gmail.com. When you are ready to do something, contact us at We Act Radio.
You're listening to We Act Radio, WPWC 1480 AM. Visit us online at weactradio.com.
And we're back. It's Bishop Hambone on the microphone, and now we are joined by yet another guest, an expert teacher as well, the legendary Mr. Eugene Brown. Are you with us, sir? Mr. Brown, are you with us, sir? Give us one moment to see if he's still on the line. All right, Mr. Brown, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh.
All right, Mr. Brown. Now, sir, we were just going over not only what's going on in the Southeast D.C. area, but just in general, what's going on with the situation of some young gentlemen that look and act like a lot of the gentlemen that you have taught how to play chess, not only on the board, but off the board in the game of life. So, Mr. Brown, could you go ahead and just tell us some things that you have accomplished in the world of chess, and as I was saying, not only on the board, but off the board as well, and how you've affected some of the lives of the young men that you work with, young men and women, excuse me.
Well, you know, when we talk about impacting lives of the people that I've worked with through the years, it was just the fact that I saw the parallels of life in chess and was able to, you know, be a harbinger of that perimeter of using it as a teaching tool, you know, because that's the way that I saw it and the way it was taught to me. Not only play chess on the board, but play it off the board, making decisions and using life strategies and choices, you know. So, you know, and when I look back at it, I look back at the fact that when I was in prison, it was a decision that I made to go to prison. Then once I was released from prison, I made a decision not to return. I never knew how long I had been locked up till I found out what freedom was. And what subsequently happened was the fact that I found out the years that I had imprisoned myself with limited thinking. So chess was able to open the possibilities of, even when I thought I was in a bad position and I saw on the board that there was no way that I could lose, that I could win this game. But, you know, having someone to show me, having a paradigm shift to see that really I could have won. And so some of the things that I found that guys that come out of public housing, you know, people that are underprivileged, one-parent families and all of that, you know, it was always good to use that as an excuse. But right. I learned early on that that's one thing that a loser has, and you can always identify a loser, because one thing he has is an excuse to lose. He's not going to lose until he gets an excuse. So these were some of the things that I was able to bring to some of the people that I was able to get into their ear and let them understand the fact that they were responsible for the decisions that they made. They couldn't even blame, and even if they was coming up from a dysfunctional family at an early age, if there's one thing that you have to understand is that if you don't do nothing else, is no sooner than you get enough money or at the age, you got to get up from out of there. You know, so all of this comes back from not only just a Statue of Liberty that they have in New York, is I bring a statue of responsibility to the table. And once you're able to, you know, change that self-image, you know, and it's just like having a paradigm. You see it all the time in Anacostia with the big chair.
Yes, sir.
You got a lot of people that can't see the big chair no further than Anacostia, which is the biggest chair in the United States. It's a landmark, but some people only see, when you say the big chair, they don't even recognize that as a national symbol.
I didn't realize that either, sir. That's something I didn't realize about the big chair.
Because of the fact that it, you know, and a lot of times most of the education that we get is handed down to us without no research.
Very true.
If you come out of a bilingual family at an early age, or a trilingual family, or a quadlingual family, you'll pick up those languages and really don't even know you speaking different languages.
Now, with you not only going into examples of how people are not realizing the position that they're in, I just wanted to touch that on the boys and realize excuses, just like you said, should never be something that we have because of the opportunity that we're faced with. So the conditions, whether it be as you are going over, whether it be the family that you're coming from, whether it be the income, that is not necessarily going to affect your end game, as these boys and a lot of other chess players are familiar with. So everybody that's in the Anacostia area and anywhere else, just because you're in a particular situation now doesn't mean you can't get to where you're trying to go. That might even give you inspiration to get where you're trying to go. And we also have Mr. Brown, Shaka Greene, on the line, who is a well-achieved chess coach, not only on the board but off the board, as far as making sure the kids that he works with are making the correct choices in life, as well as when they're playing their chess games. And Shaka, is there anything that you wanted to share with Mr. Brown? Because I know you're familiar with the Big Chair Chess Club and have gone to many of the same phases that he's gone through, and just if you wanted to ask him anything about his experiences.
He and I've actually met. How you doing, Brother Brown?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm great, brother. It's good to talk to you. As I've said before, I really admire the work that you do with young people. I have a great deal of respect for your story, of perseverance, of making better choices and better decisions, and not accepting excuses for yourself and then excuses for the charges that have come under you. So I have a lot of respect, brother. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And boys, before we get to some other works that Mr. Eugene Brown has been doing, do you all have any questions for Mr. Eugene Brown or even Shaka Greene before you all get up out of here?
I don't.
No questions for you, sir? What about you two?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yes, I have a question for Mr.
Greene.
Mr. Greene.
Yes, sir.
My question is, when you first started playing chess?
My father taught me the game when I was 6 years old.
Uh-huh. Mr. Brown, could you answer that question as well? When did you begin playing chess?
You know, one of the things that I hear from people, not only Anglo-Saxon or just, Europe or white folks or even educated folks, one thing that I hear, and when I ask them, say, how long have you been playing chess? They say, well, I started when I was about 6, but I don't play no more. But what I'm actually hearing is when someone teaches a kid that early, even if they stop playing, one thing that they teach them how to think at an early age.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
And you'll hear a lot of people, like in your discussion, you'll say, you play? And they say, no, I don't play no more. And a lot of college students, a lot of business people, but somewhere along the line, you hear them say that someone taught them early in life. And they didn't just teach them chess. They taught them how to think. So that's one of the things that we always say, even though you may come into our chess club, you may not never be a good chess player, but we will instill the fact in you how to think before you move. So I learned from a community-based program back in the 60s, the Afrocentric. And that's when they gave us the history of chess, who we were, the chess, our ancestors were noble. Chess was a game of the regal. So these are some of the things back in the 60s, being defined Afrocentric and being, and I'm getting off the line, but people don't understand. No, that's when my trouble started back during the Black and I'm Proud.
Yes, sir.
I was, my school, I came from Phelps, I was a barber. And what people don't understand was when the when the Bush came up, you don't know the devastation that hit the barber shop for the first. Can you imagine the onset of the Bush and how long people avoided the barber shop?
Yes, sir, I understand. Cause
they don't even take that into consideration. But I didn't realize that I had a choice, that I could have went back to school, but I made some real bad decisions at that time in my life.
We're definitely glad, not only for yourself, but for the others that you've reached, that you definitely found a way that, even though you lost a couple games, hung in there, kept playing, and kept thinking not just about your next move, but your moves ahead, and got things together so you can not only, once again, help yourself, but help others. Now, before we get you off the line, Mr. Brown, and everyone else, before we're closing out, we definitely want to let people know about what's going on with chess tournaments, and also where they can learn chess, who they can reach out to learn chess in different areas around the D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area. And so, Mr. Greene, and, well, let's have you first, Mr. Brown, because I know you're going to get off the line soon. Mr. Brown, do you have any tournaments that are coming up that are associated with the Big Chair Chess Club that you would like to share with people so they can be a part of it?
Well, our next big event is in June. That's when we had the Big Chair Chess Club Day, and over at the Deanwood Chess House, we are going to launch probably the first African American Chess Hall of Fame, where we were going to recognize all African American chess players. We're going to have a wall, so we're going to be asking other area associates in the chess community to help us out in this endeavor, so that we can start, proclaiming our own people and having a wall of Hall of Fame from local chess players. Just like when Tate passed away. These some guys. He's a Washington D.C. home guard in DuPont Circle. These are some of the people that need to be recognized.
Yes,
so we're going to do that. We're going to do that in June. June was officially the Big Chair Chess. June the 20th is officially from the city, the Big Chair Chess Club Day. So that's what we're going to have in a big award day at the Deanwood Chess House. But most of the tournaments, I guess you can go online. But my biggest thing that I really push is for a kid to start, or a young person, or whatever age, to start reading a beginner's chess book.
Wow, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, just to get a beginner's chess book. That's where Maurice Ashley started. He was getting beat so many times, he went to the library.
Do you guys know who Maurice Ashley is? No? Oh, my goodness. Once again, I'm so glad, sir, that you're opening up that Hall of Fame, because these young men will definitely need to be visiting that to get some of their, not just chess history.
And you know why I say that? This is the last thing I'm going to say. The reason why I say that is because I've seen a lot of our kids start, that's some of their associations that start making innuendos and making just type from the people that teach them. And one of the things that even Poverty Wilson mentioned back during miseducation to the Negro was the fact that the day that slavery was over, before even slavery, you couldn't read or write. So the day after slavery, now you can read or write, but who do you think they sent in to teach us?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be kind of careful,
Yeah, know the whole story from start to end to figure out what's really going on. And thankfully, once again, we have elders like you that are reaching out and connecting with not only myself as part of the youth under you, but also all the way back down to and making sure that I'm able to pass on the message that you're teaching me, and even my big brother Shaka here, and our definitely gotta give a shout out to the owner of We Act Radio, Mr. Kamon Freeman. I've learned a whole lot from these gentlemen. I learned a lot off the board from both of them, as well as just as how to reach my kids in better ways, just as you were alluding to as far as books. Shaka really turned me on to that as far as making sure that was part of what they needed to learn from each other, and even especially peer teaching. But before we get into that anymore, I wanted to definitely let Shaka know what was going on with Bravo Zulu Chess and the latest news with them.
We are in the meat of our season. We have 5 consecutive events coming up, and we look forward to doing well in all of those events. This is what we do. We practice and we play. And as I tell the students, you don't win the tournaments on tournament day. You win the tournament in practice. And so they have been practicing very, very hard, even though from time to time, like today, I have to fuss and talk about keeping their priorities in order. It's God, family, school, chess in that order. And if one of those things is misaligned, then I have to help them to reorder their priorities.
Definitely good to hear that once again we're passing on the right messages to the youth so they can make better decisions in the things that they do. Now, I know one of you brothers got to ask a question before we close out. Do you have any more questions for either Mr. Brown or Mr. Shaka Greene?
I got a question for Mr. Greene.
Speak up into the microphone. Please face the microphone, not me.
I got a question.
There you go.
For Mr.
I have
Greene.
a question.
I have a question for Mr. Greene.
Yes, sir.
What was your story about chess? Like, why did you play chess?
Growing up, I wanted to be just like my father. I wanted to walk like him and talk like him and dress like him and laugh like him. And he was an avid chess player. And he was very good at beating all of his friends. And so I wanted to be very good at beating all of my friends. And so I learned the game very early. I studied it. I practiced it. But it wasn't until I was an adult that I saw the merits of the game beyond moving 32 pieces across a 64 square board. It's so much bigger than just the pieces. The lessons that you get from discipline, thinking before you speak or you move, the shaking hands, the camaraderie, the channeling your energy, staying focused, staying humble on the board, not getting too excited when you see a good move, looking for a better move. Those are all life lessons. As you're sitting in the classroom, if you can play a chess game for 90 minutes and do well, then you definitely can sit in a classroom for 45 minutes and pay attention to your teacher. Don't give them that ammunition to say, our kids can't think, our kids can't do, when we can think and we can do, and we're excellent in whatever we put our mind to. If you want to dab, you're going to watch that YouTube video on dabbing 50 times. You're going to hit the Dougie 50 times, the Quan 50 times. You have to put that same energy into your mathematics, into your science, into your history, into your writing, and into your chess.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And make sure y'all not just listening to those things. Make sure you're putting into practice early, okay?
Yes, sir.
Right now, when you can build those healthy habits. Don't try to say, you know what, that sounds good, but maybe when I get into high school, or maybe when I get out of high school, when I get into college, or maybe after I'm done with college. No. Take heed right now. Practice at it, because a lot of things that you're going to try, you might even discover that you don't like as much as you thought you did, okay?
Yes, sir.
And now, before we get you guys off of here, we definitely have to give just a shout out to the kings and queens of not only the local Anacostia area in D.C., but worldwide, because I wanted to just hit on something that my big brother just said. He wanted to be like his father. Now, whether his father knew this or not, I'm not sure. He might have even had the chance to, the ability to speak when he began the yearning to want to be like his father. But remember, kings and queens, your pawns are watching you. They're watching what you're saying, listening to what you're saying, watching what you're doing, and they're going to form those same habits early. So it's the same thing with us. We can't say, okay, we want these kids to do better if we are not showing them better, okay? So it always starts with the kings and queens to make sure that the pawns are rising up to the ability that they have, okay? So this has been a beautiful hour with you gentlemen, and I'm sad it's coming to an end, but this is Bishop Hambone signing off on your microphone, and Mr. Brown, thank you again for joining us, sir.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. Remember, this is not just a home for me. This is the home for everybody that is attempting to teach and share the game of chess, once again, not only on the board, but off the board, to make better decisions and get us as individuals and as a group, community, and a people, country, nation, however you want to build it. It takes steps. So these are the steps that we must take no matter what position you're beginning at. Remember, we're thinking of the end game, not just of where we are.
Thank you.
All right.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
And so, Mr. Brown, make sure you join us again, sir. Remember, this will be Wednesdays, 8 o'clock, and you have this open platform to definitely discuss what's going on with your chess group and more from Bravo Zulu, hopefully, and more from these young gentlemen. If your mom wants to bring you all back out, you can definitely help out and come and take pictures these gentlemen were doing earlier in the show, and also learn some things about more what goes into doing a talk show, okay? Because even I'm learning. So as I'm learning, I'll pass that on to you all. So if that's something that you want to experience, you'll be able to do, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you. Make sure you take your headphones off before you leave out, all right?
Okay.
See you later.
Alligator.
Peace, soldiers.
All right. Thank you.